Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm Justin Davis. Today I'm going to review a smartwatch for you guys. This is the Amazfit by Xiaomi. Usually I'm doing lots and lots of drone reviews, but today we're going to talk about a smartwatch. And I've never actually had a fitness slash smartwatch before, but this is my first one. And I wanted the Apple Watch for a long time, but it's just too expensive. I didn't want to spend $300 to $400 on something that was going to sit on my wrist and kind of just keep plugging away information at me all the time. And I didn't want to be bothered outside my phone as another way to just have another distraction in the world. You know, we already have so much distractions with Facebook and email and all that other stuff. Why do I need more data? Well, I got this watch, and what it did for me was it really kind of gave me an idea of how much exercise I was not getting. Now, as a YouTuber, I do a lot of sitting down and editing videos for you guys, sitting here in the shop, working on different builds and putting stuff together in 3D printers and such. But I was getting around 1,000 to 2,000 steps a day, and that is really, really low, and it's not good for your heart. So you start to have issues and problems after about 5 years worth of that. If you work in an office where you're sitting 9 to 5 all day long, you have 8 hours worth of sitting on your butt, doing some type of administrative job, or maybe you're a creative professional, it's just really not good for your heart. And your heart is a muscle, so we have to exercise that muscle to keep ourselves healthy. It also helps your blood to get more oxygen all the way around your body and up to your brain and down to your feet the more exercise you get. Now, years ago, I used to be a kiteboarding instructor, and I did that for a long time, so I was very active. I was also big into cycling, but I never really got into walking or even really jogging. But recently, once I got this watch, I strapped it on my wrist, and after the first few days, it gave me a really clear view of how much exercise I was not actually getting. If I sat around my studio for most of the day, I was getting around 1,000 to 2,000 on the regular. And I put my weight in here, I'm around 150 pounds. So it told me that at my height and weight, I needed to get a certain amount of steps, which was about 8,000 steps. And I thought that seemed like a whole lot of steps to begin with, because that's a little over 3 miles. And that seems like a long way to walk for me, for someone who's never done a lot of walking before. So I decided to gradually work my way into the challenge of 8,000 steps. And it seems like a lot at first, it really did. It seemed like a huge number of steps, and I was wondering how I was ever gonna be able to do that. But once I went outside and I started walking a little bit, I did around 4,000 to 5,000. And I worked my way up to my goal of 8,000 steps for this watch. And it was really interesting because I had walked over 3 miles and done my 8,000 steps in one day. And after about 3 or 4 days to 5 days into it, giving myself a break every other day, I started to feel different, and I started to notice a little bit of change in the way I was moving around. Sometimes I have to go out in the middle of the field and pick up a quadcopter, and if I have to run way across the field, I was out of breath and just not doing very well. So I did notice that after a couple weeks of doing 8,000 steps and actually progressing from 8,000 steps up into 10,000 steps, that I was starting to really be a lot more physically able to do things. I mean, I could even get to the point where I was doing 12 to 14,000 steps. And during those walks, I ended up feeling like I wanted to start to run a little bit because my legs started feeling so good. And I even actually went out and got myself a pair of walking shoes, which I have not ever really had. So I got myself a nice pair of walking shoes on Amazon, and now I really enjoy going outside and using this watch. And I love seeing the goal pop up on the screen that says you've reached your goal of 8,000. And a lot of times I just keep going, and I don't want to stop walking. It feels really good to get out there and do that. It's been a huge change for my life, but what I want to do for this review is actually give you some real world experience with the watch out in the only rainforest in the United States. We're gonna go take a walk in Quinault Forest. It's the rainforest up in the Olympic Peninsula in the state of Washington, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous there. My family and I went for a hike, and I used this smartwatch on the walk. I'll take you on that walk now, and afterwards we'll come back into the studio and I'll show you how this watch works on the bench and show you how it links up to the phone and all that good stuff.
When I wake up in the morning and it's time to rise and shine, first I pull back the curtains, then I open up the blinds, let the sun shine in on my skin. Thanks and praise to the one who makes the world spin. With my hands in I say as I pray, Lord, thank you for this day. Please help me on my way. Please shine a bright light on the path that I'm on. Salutations to the glorious, victorious Son. Join the revolution into moving meditation, a daily affirmation to strengthen concentration, cultivating peace with faith, grace, and patience, receiving inspiration with every inhalation, deep contemplation based on the foundation that we are all one, no separation, be like the sun and shine on creation.
Alright guys, welcome back from that hike in the Quinault Forest. That is in the Pacific Northwest. It's an absolutely beautiful area. If you've never been there, you should definitely book a night or two at the Quinault Lodge. It is like one of the most romantic places to take your other half. It's absolutely beautiful up there, but check the weather before you go. They do get like 14 feet of rain a year. There's a lot of rain going in there, but it is a rainforest and it's the only one in the United States, which is amazing. So also above that, I definitely have to recommend the Ho Rainforest. You should check that out. That is spelled H-O, and that is in the northern Olympic Peninsula of Washington State. It is absolutely stunning. So gorgeous mountains and breathtaking scenery and just the most amazing hikes. But this was great timing for me because I had used this watch for about 3 weeks or so, and I really got into my walking and got into doing my goals on this. My 8,000 steps were pretty much easy for me by the time I went back to the rainforest for the second or third time we had been there. And the first couple times I went, honestly, I'm gonna admit that I was really out of shape. And when I went to do those hikes with my other half, she's really sporty and she kind of outwalks me everywhere. And finally I'm able to sort of keep up with her and getting my sort of New York City stride back, which is kind of amazing thanks to this watch letting me know what my steps are. Now my steps are shown on the screen right here. You have a few different types of information that you can have displayed on the screen, and you can change the watch faces inside the settings in the watch, but I like this one the best. It kind of reminds me of the Pebble watch, this little interface. It shows me the day of the week, it shows me the month and the day, shows me the time with the seconds and PM or AM there. It shows me my battery status on the watch, and it shows me my current steps. And as your steps go up during the day, this little meter over on the side will rise all the way up till you reach your goal, and then it'll give you a little star for your 8,000 steps. Now, depending on your weight, your age, and your height, that's going to calculate how many steps that you need per day, and it's going to ask you that in the initial setup of the watch. Now, I'm going to admit that I have never bought an Apple Watch, mainly because I was turned off by the price. I didn't want to pay $200, $300 to $400 for an Apple Watch, and I really didn't want the hassle of more information and data being thrown at me all the time, and just another distraction outside Facebook and everything else we're looking at these days. So I avoided having any kind of watch for a long time, but this one's under $100. It's like $80 right now, and the battery lasts around 2 weeks, which I think is great because a lot of these batteries on these smartwatches, they only last around 24 hours to 48 hours, and that's just unacceptable to me. I don't want to be constantly charging another device outside my phone, because it seems like my phone is always dying and I'm having to chase my phone around and make sure that's charged. But this, I put it on and I kind of forget about it and I just go continue using it. It does come with this little cradle style charger, which I think is pretty nice. It has two little rubber feet on the bottom, and these two posts right here just fit right on the back of the watch. It kind of snaps in there, and it has a USB charge port on the other end, which you can plug into your computer or any type of phone USB charge port into your AC outlet. But getting 2 weeks at least 2 weeks out of the battery time is totally acceptable to me. And it is a 1S battery inside there, and it's 200 milliamp. Now it does say in the tech specs for this watch not to wear it in the shower, but I did it anyway. I wore it in the shower several times. For the first few weeks, I kind of kept it out of the water, and one day I just got in the shower and I forgot. And actually the watch did fine. It says it is submergible to 5 feet. For like 30 minutes or something like that. But I would probably not worry about wearing this in the shower. I don't think you're gonna hurt it. Now on the very back, it does have a heart rate monitor, and it shoots these little green laser looking things at your wrist while you're wearing it. I'm not sure it's collecting the information coming. You can see that little green light lighting up right there. It's looking for my heart rate information, which is pretty cool. It does it up to the minute. So it stores all of that information inside the app as it's connected to the Bluetooth on your phone. And that way you can get an overall resting heartbeat and your highest peak heart rates per 24-hour basis. And it keeps a log of that. You can go back and look at each day, which I find really cool. So I can go back and look at my goals. If I reach my 8,000 steps or not, I can see that inside the app. The watch does have Bluetooth on here, and it's pretty easy to connect. You just turn on Bluetooth on your phone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone, and you click on Amazfit Bip Watch, and it's going to automatically connect in a few seconds. Now once it's connected, you can download the MiFit app, and it's in the Android store or the iOS store, and it's going to show you all your steps here. It's going to show you how far you've gone and how many calories you've burned, and it's going to show you other information here like your streaks. You can go back and look at your individual steps for individual days, which is great. It's going to give you your resting heart rate and your activity, your high end of your heart rate. It's going to give you a little graph right here. If you click on this, you can scroll along during the time of the day, back and forth, and it's going to give you the heart rate for that particular time of day. So it's pretty neat. You can go and see where your heart rate was the highest during the peak of your day and the lowest. So usually the lowest is when you're sleeping, and you're going to get around 55 beats per minute to 50. Some people are even lower, but my resting heart rate seems to be about 55 on the average. So it's pretty regular for most people, around 50 beats per minute. But I didn't know anything about my heart rate until I actually got this watch and looked at some of this data. You can see your resting heart rate information in here too, and you can go back each day and see how it changed as you went through the last few weeks right there on the watch. And it's kind of nice that it has all this data, because this app is way more intense than some of the other sport watches that I've seen out there, like the Fitbit. Doesn't seem to have all of this particular rich type of data that this one does. And I've compared this to other friends of mine, because we do share our information on Facebook sometimes, like, hey, I went 8,000 steps today, or I went 12,000, whatever. We're really not competing, but we just like to show what we've done for the day, and it's kind of nice. And today I haven't done much. I'm at 602 steps, and it says I'm ahead of 2% of users, which is kind of funny. It does show you how many calories you burn, but I feel like the calorie count might be a little bit off, because sometimes if I walk 5 miles, it only says I burned like 250 calories. So that might be one con of the watch. But it also shows you your light activity and your more active activity. It shows you your daily average steps, and right now in the last 30 days it shows me that I'm at 8,165 steps. My daily average distance is going to be 3.6 miles. And that's pretty good, because that looks like my daily goal of 8,000 steps is happening for me. And it also shows you how much fat you burned, 25 ounces. That's a lot of fat burning in 30 days. So I'm going to go back out of that, and you can change around this information the way it's displayed. I wanted my streaks up at the top, and the way you can change that is you can go into the settings of this app, and you can shuffle stuff around. It's right here. You go to sort, and I can move my streak down to the bottom, or I can put my weight up there, depending on what my goal is, or what I want to see first. So I'm looking at my steps mostly, so I keep my goals at the very top of this list. Now if I click on this little button right there, it takes me to that second page there that I showed you guys before, and it gives you your daily averages. And if you want to go back even further and look at more of your walking information, you click on history, and that was at the very bottom of this page. Just click on history, and then you can go back for the previous 30 days or so, maybe all the way back to the very beginning of your use of your watch, which is kind of neat. You can click on any average day there, and it looks like that day I got 12,472 steps, which is pretty good. That's a distance of 5.6 miles, and my activity time was 2 hours and 26 minutes. And it says I burned 297 calories, which that might be kind of off. So I'm not sure the calorie counter burning is totally correct. The Fitbit might be more accurate on the calories burned, but for the steps and all the rest of the data, I have the Fitbit beat here for sure. Now, while you're exercising, depending on what type of exercise you're doing, you can click on activity and you can change this between different types of activity. So if you're doing running, you can set it on running. If you're doing treadmill, if you're walking on the treadmill, you can time it and start it. You can see your general pace, and when you slow down or sped up, you can do cycling outdoors, and you can also set it to walking. And most of the time with this watch, I'm doing walking goals, so I have mine set to walking. Once you start it, it's going to use the GPS. It'll show how far you went, and right now I'm indoors, so it's not giving me a good GPS signal. You need to be outside for that, but it's also cool that it does have GPS, because if you're out hiking, it sort of gives you a digital compass. The GPS works anywhere you go. You don't have to have a phone connection for the GPS to work, which is really great. Now, if I click on profile on the very end down there at the bottom, you can put your picture on there. You can see your average steps for the last 30 days, and mine are 7,667 steps. That's pretty good. I've walked a total of 122 miles since I had the watch, and I've reached my goal, my 8,000 steps, 16 times. So that's pretty good. I also have my battery percentage in there. Right now is 48% charged today, and it shows me my incoming calls, which is also really awesome because I never miss my phone calls anymore, which is really nice because most of the time my iPhone ringer's off, so I miss a lot of calls. I can also set a watch alarm if I had a flight the next morning, and I can do app alerts as well. I have those turned off, but what I think is really cool is that you can use the watch to find your smartphone. So if I go into the settings in the watch, I can click on Find Device and my phone will actually start beeping. So it kind of works like a way to find your phone, which is really great. And you can also change a ton of other information in here. You can flip the wrist and like just go like this really quickly and it'll turn on, and that way you can just go right into the menus. It shows your display settings, your weather settings. If you go to display settings, you can change around all of that information. So if you wanted to move the compass all the way up, you can move all this stuff around. This is really nice. Just one of the features that I don't even use because I really don't mind the way it's set up, that it came out of the box. Weather settings, that depends on your zip code. It shows you your firmware version and your Bluetooth address. And you also have the option at the very bottom to unpair the watch from your phone. So I think overall the app is super rich with all the data here. You can do screenshots of it and share it with your friends on Facebook. As you get to the top end of your goals and you want to share that on Facebook, that's super easy to do that. So let's go ahead and open up the watch and I'll show you what the watch looks like and some of the interface of the watch. Now, what I don't like the most about a lot of smartwatches out there is that they are pretty heavy and they're pretty big and bulky and thick. And this one's actually weighing in at 28.7 grams, which is kind of amazing. It's nice, slim fit, and it doesn't bother me while I'm wearing it. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a giant dive watch or something, or aviator watch. It's actually quite discreet. So like I said, it does look a lot like the Pebble, but I like this sort of 1980s digital watch look. It kind of reminds me of my old Casio Iron Man watches that I used to get when I was a kid, but you can set it up in 12-hour or 24-hour mode. It shows me the day of the week here. It shows me the month and the day. It shows me how many steps I have, the battery level right there, and this little thing over in the corner right here, this is for my 8,000 steps goal. And when that goes all the way up to the very top, this little badge right here will pop up and it gives you a star right in the middle of the watch and lets you know that you've reached your daily goal. If you do click on the button on the side, once you do that, it lights up with the backlit display and you can swipe different directions, and it shows me that I have a message from Sarah there, I have a message from Jeffrey, so I can scroll through all of my messages. I can also get the charge rate there on the watch. It looks like I'm getting pretty low on the watch battery, but it shows me a lot of different information. But you can get your text on there, which I really love, and I don't miss my text anymore. Now if you swipe to the right, it gives you your status. If you swipe to the left again, it takes you to the main menu. And if I swipe down, it shows me that Smart D&D is on, and that's calculating my sleep time. So that's pretty cool. If I go to the right again, status, I can click on that. It shows me my current amount of steps for the day. It shows me my current heart rate, which is really nice, but I have to have it on to show that. It shows me how far I've been. Right now it says kilometers, 0.4 kilometers, which is not very far. My calories burned, and my sitting sessions. This is one that I really like as a YouTuber, since I'm sitting all the time and editing videos for you guys. When I sit over an hour, the watch beeps and lets me know to get up and move around. It's actually really cool. So a lot of times I do take breaks because of the watch. Now I'll go further into it, and you can see the activity setting here. You can change it from outdoor running here, treadmill, cycling, walking. So you can use the watch outside the app as well. So if you left your phone at home, that's really nice. It'll still record all the data. So I can go back out to status there. I can click it again to go to the home screen. Now I can go to weather, and if you have it connected to the watch, it'll give you your current zip code information for your weather. So I don't have that weather part set up, but you can also set an alarm Monday through Friday, or an everyday alarm, which is kind of cool. I'm a YouTuber, so I don't have an alarm, but a timer right here. You can do stopwatch, you can do countdown. That's kind of nice. I don't use that myself, but compass was nice when I was out doing that hike in the rainforest. And if you click on that, if you follow this pattern, you sort of run it around like a figure 8, it will calibrate, and then it'll show you longitude, latitude information, all that cool stuff, north, south, east, and west, which is really kind of handy if you're hiking. But you don't need a cell phone signal for that to work, which is really great. Now here you can change the watch face, long press button. That just tells you to start certain things or activities. So if you wanted a long press for running or treadmill, walking, or you wanted to turn the watch off, right now I have it set to turn the watch off. If I click it again, it's going to take me back to the settings menu, and I can go down and I can adjust the brightness. I feel like the brightness is a little bit bright for in the bedroom at night. You can also turn off the backlit face, so it's just going to go up and down there by touch screen. I'm going to set it all the way bright so you guys can see it. And down further we have find device, and this is really great because if I lose my iPhone, I can press that and find my iPhone. That's really nice. So it's a lot quicker than the Find My iPhone app, or having to go find my iPad to find my iPhone. So really nice. Now if I click on the About, it gives me the firmware version, what Bluetooth address it is, and I can do a factory reset on it, or I can turn it off. So a pretty simple to use smartwatch, and very easy. Now one other thing I want to show you guys is the various different smartwatch faces that you can choose. Now I'm just going to scroll back over to the settings here, all the way over, click on settings, and then watch face. And now if I swipe up, it's going to give me different choices. You can also go into the app and download a whole bunch of other watch faces, which is really cool. I like this one a lot because it's pretty simple. And this one's kind of like a little dive watch. You can get the weather on there, and it has different types of data on each different watch face, sort of classic watch, and then sort of more of a digital watch. If I go all the way back up to the top, I really like that one digital watch display because it shows so much different information on there. And you can see that little daily counter thing there. And then if I click in the middle of the screen, it says apply that watch face, and yes, I'm going to go back to that original watch face there. That's my favorite. So overall, for my first experience with a smartwatch, I feel like this was a great experience. It taught me a lot about how much exercise I wasn't getting, and I had no idea. You have no idea until you actually strap one of these on your wrist and do your walks yourself. And just the first day that you get it, don't even try to reach your goal. Just see how many steps you get on the average for any regular type of day that you have, and you will be blown away with the lack of exercise that you're actually getting. And I think that's a huge thing for people, to be able to know what the steps are and what kind of exercise you're getting. That's a really powerful thing for your health, your blood, your heart, and your amount of sleep that you're getting, because the more exercise you get during the day, the more easily it's going to be to go to sleep at night. You're just going to be resting a lot better at night as well. So all kinds of benefits to being able to know all of this information, and don't let it stress you out. Looking at your heart rate and stuff like that, you will find out that your heart may be actually more normal than you realized, because I always felt like my heart rate was faster than I was actually finding out that it was, and that makes me feel pretty good that I know all this information, and now I know how to better take care of myself. And I think that's probably my biggest benefit of having this smartwatch is taking care of myself, and kind of not being obsessed with it, but looking out for keeping myself in shape and healthy, and getting enough sleep, and going to bed early enough during the nights when I'm staying up watching TV. But anyway, guys, I had a lot of fun reviewing this for you, and taking it out on a hike, and really kind of getting myself to a better level of health. That's really an exciting thing for me. So eating right and exercise, and two biggest things you can do for yourself, and getting enough sleep. So thanks again for watching this review, guys. This has been the Xiaomi Amazfit watch, and I look forward to doing more smartwatch reviews for you guys, because this was actually a lot of fun to do this one, and I feel like I learned a whole lot using this watch, a lot about myself, which is really nice. So you can check this one out in the link below, guys, and you can get a discount on that as well. So under $100, pretty amazing watch. Thanks again for watching this review. I'm Justin Davis. I'll see you on the next one.